Hello, welcome to BioGrade TV. If you're new here, please subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't miss our next video. How political parties started in South Africa. Discrimination, segregation, oppression. Those are the words that can be used to describe what the black South Africans endured decades before they were able to exercise their right to vote and rule in their own country. While discrimination, segregation, and oppression were features of most, if not all, colonized nations on the continent, South Africa's was in a class of its own and made even worse with the detestable policy of apartheid that the white minority government introduced in 1948. So, when organized freedom struggle commenced among black South Africans, it wasn't just about a right to govern themselves, but also a right to be seen and perceived as humans. One political organization stands out among the lot that took up the struggle for the freedom of black South Africans: the African National Congress, ANC. The history of ANC dates as far back as 1912, when it was founded on the 8th of February by John Langalibalele Dube in Bloemfontein. Then it was called the South African Native National Congress, SANNC. SANNC was founded in response to the ill treatment and injustice against black South Africans at the hands of the apartheid government in power then. The organization's mission was to bring all Africans together as one people and to defend their rights. This included granting complete voting rights to black South Africans as well as mixed-race South Africans. From 1948, another aspect was added to the mission, and that was to end the system of apartheid introduced by the government that year. By 1919, the SANNC was championing the campaign against passes that all black South Africans were required to have. It was considered a crime to be found without a pass. In 1923, the organization's name was changed to the African National Congress. The ANC originally hoped that non-violent protest would be sufficient to end apartheid in the country. However, when in March 1960, about 69 black Africans were killed and hundreds wounded by the police in what became known as the Sharpeville Massacre, the ANC began plans to take up arms. Indeed, the ANC formed a militant arm called Umkhonto weSizwe, that is, Spear of the Nation, after the government of Charles Robert Swarts banned the party on the 8th of April 1960. The Umkhonto weSizwe mostly utilized guerrilla warfare and sabotage in its fight against the apartheid government. The struggle and fight continued for about 3 decades, during which many ANC members were killed, imprisoned, or exiled. But seeds sown in the struggle began to yield fruit as the country moved towards full democracy. President F.W. de Klerk on the 3rd of February 1990 lifted the ban on the ANC and released the legendary Nelson Mandela from prison. In March 1992, a referendum to do away with apartheid took place and it passed, effectively bringing an end to the much-hated policy. With apartheid out of the way, the ANC was allowed to participate in the 1994 elections, and all adult South Africans were allowed to vote for the first time. Nelson Mandela was elected president in 1994 as the ANC candidate. Since then, the ANC has remained the ruling party. Cyril Ramaphosa, president of South Africa, has been the leader of the ANC since the 18th of December 2017. The ANC was not the only political organization that fought against apartheid. The South African Congress of Democrats, SACOD, was another political organization that was involved in the struggle, and its members were actually whites who sympathized with the condition of the black Africans. SACOD or COD was a radical left anti-apartheid organization founded in South Africa in 1952. It was part of the Multiracial Congress Alliance, which was set up after the African National Congress (ANC) invited whites to become part of the movement. Other members of the Congress Alliance were the South African Communist Party (SACP), the South African Indian Congress, and the Colored People's Congress. The establishment of the COD was an illustration of the opposition to apartheid among whites. The COD closely identified with the ANC and pushed for racial equality and universal suffrage. Though it was a small organization, it was a major part of the Congress Alliance. The COD was banned by the South African apartheid government in September 1962. Nelson Mandela, speaking about ANC's relationship with COD, wrote, "The COD served an important symbolic function for Africans. Blacks who had come into the struggle because they were anti-white discovered that they were indeed whites of goodwill who treated Africans as equal." The present official opposition party in South Africa is the Democratic Alliance. In the last general elections in 2019, the party won 20.77% of the vote and 84 seats in the parliament to the ruling ANC's 57.5% and 230 seats. The roots of the Democratic Alliance can be traced to the founding of the Anti-Apartheid Progressive Party in 1959. Between then and now, many mergers and name change have occurred, ending up with the present party. In addition to governing quite a number of major metropolitan municipalities, the DA has been governing the Western Cape, which is one of the 9 provinces of South Africa, since the 2009 general election. The party won a bigger majority at the 2014 election, but slightly losing support in the 2019 election. The Economic Freedom Fighters (EFF) was founded in the year 2013 by Julius Malema, who was the president of African National Congress Youth League (ANCYL). When he was expelled from ANC, he and some of the angry members of ANC who left the party with him formed the EFF. Malema became the president of the party, and they have been serving as opposition in the parliament since then. What have we missed out of this history? Let's know in the comment section. Will it be ridiculous to subscribe to our channel? If no, please like this video, share, and subscribe to our channel.